Welcome to the Neither Here Nor There podcast with Laura and Stuart. Partners in crime who rob banks.
Okay.
Credit card theft.
News to me. Why are you saying
I don't
that?
know.
You're just...
I don't know. I'm just shitting. Shitting.
You mean talking shit? She's lost it. We're talking about university. We're talking about our university experiences. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use this one. So first of all, I wanted to ask you how your week was going, but specifically because you came up with a fantastic revelation the other day that when you were talking to somebody...
A fantastic revelation?
Yes, instead of saying the word cities, you said titties. You want to tell us about that, Laura?
Instead of saying city, I said titty.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was talking to a student about where he was going to move in the United States. And I'm not sure, we were going to look it up online. And so I'm not sure if I suggested, like, let's look up the titty or let's look up the city. I don't know what I said, but yeah, it was an unfortunate mistake.
But luckily, the student didn't notice.
No, he didn't notice.
Good for you.
Yeah. You know, English is his like third language, and so I don't think he picked up on my mistake.
So you didn't ask him about his favorite titties of the world?
No, I did not.
Okay, good.
No, it was just a quick slip of the tongue, and that was it.
So my week's not been that great. Thanks for asking. Baby had some jabs. My dog was sick and was doing multicolored shit.
Great.
Yeah, I played with
that
this
must
shit
be fun
yesterday.
to wait. You played what? You did what?
I played with the shit.
You played with the shit.
Yeah, originally I was doing it with like a rock, and then with a cup. But then I just thought, fuck it. I just started using my fingers.
What are you talking about?
I should probably fill in the blank here as to why I might be playing with my dog's shit. Why would I be playing with my dog's shit, Laura?
Because you're bored?
No. What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
Why would someone be playing... Come on, you can do this. Why would
playing?
someone be playing
Actually
with...
playing?
Well, using.
You needed a sample for the vet?
No. Good
using
answer.
It?
I was using dog shit for something.
Art?
Art.
You're trying to make some sort of
Dog
painting with other materials?
Nope. We have flies.
Uh-huh.
Because we have dogs.
Uh-huh.
So I was making fly traps with dog shit.
And that worked?
Yeah. Yesterday I caught about 40. The thing is... You have to cut
I'm so confused.
So you cut a
right
bottle
now.
in half, like a plastic bottle, and you have to put something tasty and attractive for the flies in the bottom.
Uh-huh.
And then you have to cover the top of the bottle and put a hole in that covering.
Uh-huh.
And then put some more of that tasty stuff around the edge of the hole to tempt them to the hole.
Uh-huh.
And then you have to put like a lid, but higher up, so there's shadow over the top. Because flies are phototropic, which means they fly normally towards the light. So
Okay.
if you just had a hole in a plastic sheet above the bottle, they would just fly up and fly out.
Right.
So you put a hole in with a little bit of poo around it.
Oh my
and you
God.
put poo inside.
Okay.
And then you put like almost like a hat, like a sort of like a, I don't know, like a lid, but higher up, so the shade falls on the fly trap. So
Wow.
yeah, yesterday.
What kind of flies? Are you talking about like regular size flies or like fruit flies?
I think there's a mixture. There were some really big guys in there.
Okay.
I put some pork, some dog shit, and some condensed milk
Wow.
in the
That must have
thing, and then I literally
smelled wonderful.
Literally got a fingerful of dog shit.
Get your finger away from me.
A fingerful of dog shit, and then smeared it around the whole
Wow.
of the and the flies were on it like nothing.
Wow.
Like flies on shit.
Wow. We had fruit flies. We had an issue with fruit flies one time. And I used vinegar. I just used vinegar. I think it was like apple cider vinegar, and made some kind of like funnel and just put that in the cup. Probably smells better than dog shit.
Did it work?
It did work.
But the dog shit's got like there's a washing line that's never used. It runs between a couple of trees in my backyard. So I just hung these bottles, 3 of these bottles.
They're hanging?
Yeah. Well, if I leave them
You
on
have
the floor, then
hanging
my
bottles
dog
of dog shit in your backyard.
pretty much I have 3 of them. Yeah. What?
I have never heard of this. Is this something that
It's working. I found it on the internet.
you found on the internet?
Yeah,
Fly trap
from-
with dog shit.
Well, with anything that it was, I think it was rabbit shit on the internet. But yeah, anything that the flies are attracted
This'll
to.
do. Wow.
Anything the flies are attracted to, you have to put some in the bottle, and you have to put a little bit around the lip of the hole.
With your finger.
Not.
Couldn't you have used like a
I
Q-tip
didn't
or
have
something?
I didn't have a fucking dog turd paintbrush. What do you?
Grab a Q-tip.
That would have been going back inside.
So I'd rather dip my fingers in dog shit.
It was interesting. I thought I was going to be sick, but I wasn't.
I think that once you've had a baby and like you've dealt with all that shit, it's you don't really you're not sensitive to anything
Speaking
anymore.
of my baby, he kicked me in the balls this week.
Did he?
For the first time.
He's strong.
Yeah, well, he was bouncing in between my legs, and then he
Gotcha.
did his heel backwards, and he hit my left testicle.
Yeah.
That was nice.
That's the first of many. It's going to happen a lot. Be
I can
prepared.
imagine. So anyway, I was supposed to be talking to you about university, right? That's the topic we've chosen for today. Okay, so here's my view of American universities. You can tell me if I'm wrong or right. We can go into a bit more detail because I am confused.
Okay.
In the UK, you choose the subject that you're going to study at university, and from day one, that's the subject you're studying.
That's the same here in Mexico.
Whereas in the US, it seems like you have to carry on with math and science, and it doesn't matter what you choose, like the first year is a foundation year, or the first year...
Yeah. I actually like that a lot because I think when you're coming into university, maybe right out of high school, you're 18, you don't really know what you want to do. Most people don't. I didn't. And for me, it allowed me to have a lot of flexibility. I changed my major a lot. When I was in high school, I took criminology classes at a local university because I thought I was going to be an FBI agent and a profiler of serial killers or something like that. And then
I'm smirking, by the way.
What?
I'm smirking over here, but yeah, carry on.
Then my first declared major was engineering. Then I went to actuarial science, then architecture, then languages. So I kind of jumped around a lot.
So please don't dispel me of this.
Myth?
It better not be a myth.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
College dorms are full of really hot girls who party all the time. It's like free for all, like meat buffet.
Meat buffet.
Yeah. Have you seen Rules of Attraction, the movie? That's based on a book by...
I don't think so.
I forget. No? Okay.
No.
Well, you know what it's like, how it's depicted in movies, the college dorms
Yeah.
and the parties and frat parties, yes.
Yeah.
Does that exist?
I
or is
never
that-
went to a frat party. That was not my scene.
But you were in a college dorm for the first year?
I was, yeah.
Sharing with who?
With a roommate that they randomly set me up with a roommate, so we hadn't.
Still your friend today?
Who's still my friend today? She's amazing.
So
yeah, we got
after-
really lucky.
After that first year, you're then encouraged to rent. You have to move out of the dorms, right? The dorms are just for the first year?
No, you can stay in the dorms, but a lot of people choose to move out because it's kind of crappy just being stuck in
Do you have
one
curfew?
room. No, you don't. No.
So you can come back to your dorm room whenever.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And do most people go wild? I mean, like, because they're 18, it's the first time living away from home. Do you get a lot of people like, oh, I suppose you can't drink till you're 21,
You can't.
right?
Yeah. When can you guys drink?
18.
Oh.
You can imagine universities are
Yeah.
like, for a lot of people, it's their first time away from home. They have money, they have somewhere to sleep, so they
Yeah.
just go out onto clubs and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So what do you do for fun when you're 18 and you're in the college dorm?
well, I mean, you find people find ways of getting alcohol in, and they find places that that are famous for like not carding or Or I remember there was a pizza place that would deliver beer, and the pizza delivery guy was never carding anybody, and so you'd order a pizza and a 6-pack or something. And, but yeah, I think it was really just, people find ways of.
So did you have like in-dorm parties or?
No, that I don't think was. You're not really supposed to do that.
Is there like
People
a
go out.
warden or like a head dorm?
Yeah,
person?
there's like monitors or something. I don't remember their title. They're like resident something or other, and so there are people who are there, kind of checking in on you, making sure.
Right. So you never went to a frat party?
No.
What's the female equivalent of a fraternity?
Sorority.
Sorority, that's the word.
Yeah.
You never went to a sorority party either?
No.
But were you aware of some ragers or whatever they're called? Were you ever invited? Could you have gone if you wanted to, or were you just like not invited because you were unpopular?
I went to a really big university. I think it's one of the second biggest in the States.
Right.
It's a really, really big university. So you can show up anywhere. I remember, some of the biggest parties I ended up seeing were after football games, because I went to a big football school. So
what's the name of your football team?
We were the Buckeyes, Ohio State. And
okay. Famous alumni, notable alumni. Any idea?
I don't know.
No, okay.
No, I can remember. Yeah, so there'd be big parties after games and things like that.
Where the cheerleaders go wild.
No, it was usually
come
like.
on, stop.
Sorry.
I've seen it in the movies. It's real.
I can remember one time I was coming home from work, because I worked all through college, and I was riding my bike home, and I couldn't get home because there was rioting on like every street.
Rioting?
Yeah, like lighting things on fire.
But for what reason?
Lost a game, and people were really drunk, and there was
fairly, or did they think that the referee had?
I don't really remember, to be honest. I didn't watch the game. I was just coming home from work, and I couldn't get home because there was rioting on the streets that I needed to go home on, and there was tear gas and stuff like that too. So I couldn't make it home after a long day at work because of the rowdy.
And they say Mexico's
college.
dangerous.
Yeah. I had a friend whose brother did an experiment and held a kegger. Are you familiar with
in
the
a keg of
term?
beer?
Yeah. So kegger, big party, you get a few kegs of beer. So he held a kegger with non-alcoholic beer as an experiment to see how people would behave and how and people acted drunk. Yes.
This is your friend's brother.
Yeah.
He sounds like a bit of a dick. I have to be honest. What a thing to do. Why did he do that? Just for his own amusement?
An experiment, I guess.
I don't like your friend's brother. I went to university as a mature student. I went when I was 21.
Okay.
So I wasn't really interested in...
How do you think that changed your experience of it?
A lot.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't there for the party. I wasn't there I was there to get good grades.
Yeah.
Sounds dorkish, but... and I was interested in what I was studying. And I didn't change.
Do you think that we should be kind of postponing the age, or that people should take more time?
It was great for me to start university at 21, because I'd lived in Mexico for a year and a half, and I had that eye-opening experience, and I knew that I wanted to go back. So I knew that if I studied a languages degree mixed with something I could teach, like world history, then I'd be set.
You'd be able to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then because I was older, I took everything much more seriously, and aced university.
Yeah.
Got we call it a first-class degree, which is the highest you can get.
Nice.
I got an award for the highest grade point average in the faculty for a joint honours degree.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I did well at university, and then after that, because I'd done so well, I got offered a fair amount of money by the government to do a postgrad in teaching. which I did, and then I left the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you think that, I mean, the price is insane,
Yes.
honestly.
Yes.
Do you think that it's worth it?
Do I think that what I received at the university was worth it? I don't know if it was worth that amount of money.
Right.
Depends on the field you want to go into, really. Because my uncle, my mother's brother, he doesn't have a university degree, and he's like a super high-up banking executive with Chase in England. I don't know.
I know a lot of people who've done really well and haven't, finished school, finished university, or maybe in some cases even high school. But yeah, I think that you are shut out of a lot of opportunities when you aren't able to go to university. It offers opportunities to a certain group of people who maybe already had them.
When I look at university degree, I don't really care about the grade point average. I'm more interested in where the degree is from and how rigorous their program is.
Okay.
Because if a person's done okay at a really good university, then that means that they're good under pressure, they're good with time management, they're good with quality of their work must be pretty good, and they're able to juggle a lot of things at once.
See,
I think university is more about skills than about the degree you have.
I agree, but I guess I'm less concerned with the reputation of a school. I think that's another way of just like layering on something else that's going to cost more money. More money for a reputation of a school, where I think you can get a phenomenal education at so many different universities. And I don't know, I guess I'm more interested in like the diversity of classes that people take, what they're doing with I don't know.
Well, in terms of being a better person or being a more interesting person, you're right, but I'm just talking in terms of hiring, because there are a load of joke universities out there. And there are a load of degrees that you can just pay for or you can get online.
That's true. That's true. I've been hearing this sometimes at the U.S. and our politics, and that there's been some people talking about the university experience rather than opening people up, that they're accusing it of indoctrinating people with certain political beliefs and philosophies and things like that. Is university in UK very political?
In terms of students and teacher relationship, no. In terms of the teacher's relationship with the boards and the budgets and things, yeah, we hear about it a lot. But no, there's not the same. Are you referring to?
Do politics work their way into your courses?
It depends. I mean, I don't take. If you did a different degree to mine, mine was Hispanic languages, Spanish and Portuguese language and literature, and then the other half, the other major was world history.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could look at the political way that we view history, but it doesn't really come into it.
Yeah.
I think if I were to study a political science major, then maybe I would have had a different experience. So I can't really say. People like Jordan Peterson, who I've mentioned to you before, he was a professor of psychiatry or psychology at a university in Toronto, and he came out against the government. The government passed a law which said that if a transgender person wants to be known by a different pronoun, then everybody has to use that pronoun.
Okay.
And he was affronted by this, or he thought it was an affront, and he said that if somebody asks me to use a different pronoun, I will.
Yeah.
If the government tells me, that's different. He said that it's like an infringement on speech, free speech. You're telling me how to speak to a person.
So he's saying that I would be polite to this person who's giving this request to me, but I don't want that to be mandated by law.
Exactly.
Okay.
And for that and a few other views about how the university faculties were too left, the teachers were too left, that he was eventually kicked out of Toronto University. And he wrote a book, and he's done this world tour, and he has millions of followers. There are lots of things, I think we've spoken about it before, but there are some dodgy things about the examples he uses, but the point he makes is about the fact that the left has gone a bit too far.
Yeah.
It's not an invalid point. I mean, if we're going to be introspective about it, there's a reason why we have I consider myself to be left of centre, then there's a reason why we have the leaders in the world that we do.
Yeah.
I think because we might have gone too far
Yeah.
in saying and trying to
Losing
not offend
some
anybody.
people. Yeah.
People, I think a lot of people are just, and I feel this sometimes inside as well. There's a part of me that was happy that we voted for Brexit, just because it was a big fuck you to Europe.
Okay.
Like, I wrote a blog entry about it. I was proud that we were strong enough to say, you know what, we're not happy with this. Screw you. Even though I would have rather we didn't leave. The fact that the EU was beginning to become a bit more of an unwieldy sort of like octopus with its tentacles and everything, as opposed to just an economic and movement union. Yeah, there was a part of me that was like, I'm sad that we're going to lose movement, we're going to lose the opportunity to work in other countries in Europe, but I'm also kind of, fair enough, like we stood up for ourselves and we're like, well, screw you.
Yeah. Because
the EU law is an example of, I think, the left going a bit too far, and that it mandates so many things so as to keep everybody happy. And that's, I think, one of the big problems of the left is that too far down the line
avoiding
of political
conflict.
Correctness. Yeah, like having to respect everybody's opinion the same as if it were a fact. If something isn't, I don't think something's offensive if somebody is offended.
Right. That people can be offended at something that is not inherently offensive.
I'm telling you again, you need to watch Humanity, Ricky Gervais' stand-up.
Yes, I haven't watched it yet.
The way he talks about this is he nails it completely. He's like,
I heard that it was good.
It's amazing.
Yeah, well, that was what I kept kind of hearing, was that people are starting to complain that universities, rather than opening people's minds, are actually possibly closing them, but around this kind of leftist, perspective. And I can hear that. They talk about certain speakers not being disinvited from speaking engagements at universities.
Happened in Australia after the shooting in Wellington, in Christchurch, in New Zealand. They were going to have Milo Yiannopoulos.
Oh yeah.
He was going to speak in Australia, and it was cancelled. The invitation was cancelled.
Wow. And I mean, that can happen, but I was just wondering if that political perspective exists in England.
No, not well. Again, in my experience, but then I finished university in 2012-13, so I didn't do a degree that was related very much to politics.
Yeah, I think that here in Mexico, public universities are known for being very political.
Yeah, I think for example, the UNAM has a reputation for breeding people who protest the government and people who stand up to.
There's a lot. There are a lot of things kind of happening within the university system and in public schools here.
It's obvious, though, how it's all going to go.
Yeah.
I think if you're of a leftist perspective, it means, generally speaking, that you are fair and open, and you're trying to keep everybody happy. And if you're introspective as a leftist, and you always try and consider other points of view, and the enemy, I suppose, that you're up against is very sure of itself, then the left perspective is going to end up destroying itself. Wow, we went political.
Yeah, we did. You just wanted to talk about partying.
I did. I just wanted to talk about dorm rooms.
You wanted to talk about dorm rooms, but I had such a boring dorm room experience. I really did. I mean, like I have no good. Well,
I need to get.
I'm sure American. I have some good dorm room stories, but
I need to get a different American. That's what I need.
Oh. All right. So what was your campus like?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was this huge green. This is the University of Nottingham. Huge green campus with beautiful old buildings and some modern buildings on it, and a big ass lake.
Big
in
ass
the middle.
lake. Yeah.
And the big ass lake had like rowboats that you could hire.
Oh, nice.
And row across the lake.
Sounds very fancy.
The lake had a couple of swans and lots of ducks. Mm-hmm. It's nice. It's very nice.
Yeah.
And the place where I was actually studying is called the Trent Building, which is the languages building, which is the iconic building of the University of Nottingham, which was this square building over 3 levels, which had a central sort of courtyard and was up on the hill overlooking the lake, and this great clock tower. So the cafe, the student cafe, was on the lip of this building overlooking the lake and the green. It was just amazing. It was a really, really beautiful campus, I think, and I used to live fairly close, so I would walk in every day. It's about a 25-minute walk past the coffee shop, grab a coffee, walk up the hill, past all of the green stuff, and yeah, it was really, really nice.
Really nice.
Yeah. How about yours? See, I'm imagining again.
Yeah.
American campuses. I'm imagining like there are tables everywhere, and there are people trying to get you to sign up for different societies, and people handing out flyers about protests and all the stuff I've seen in the movies. Is that right?
That might happen sometimes. What I liked about my campus at the time, and I don't like it anymore. I go back and I visit, and I'm really kind of turned off by the campus now.
What's the name of your university?
Ohio State. So what I liked about Ohio State was that it was a campus, pretty big campus, but also in a big city. So
in the center of the city?
Yeah, it's pretty close to the center of the city, pretty close to downtown. And I guess I kind of liked also the grittiness of the campus that it had at the time. I liked all the small businesses. I liked I liked my old, dark, dim library. Felt like a little dungeon in there. And now everything is pretty and gorgeous and changed and commercial. They've changed
I'm looking at a picture online. Is that what building? Is that part of Ohio State University? I'm seeing this sort of red brick building with arched windows and beautiful lawns and trees.
That's the library. I believe that's like their original library.
See,
that has been changed.
This looks very nice. And you're saying it's gritty and concrete.
Yeah, kind of around it. So surrounding the university, you have a lot of kind of areas of the city that were.
So I'm seeing there's a Jack Nicklaus Museum.
I'm not too
Jesse
familiar.
Owens Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, that's the.
Is he a famous alumni from your? You don't know, do you?
It's football. I don't know football.
Jesse Owens isn't football.
I don't know. Is he? I don't know.
No.
It's this football stadium.
I'm pretty sure Jesse Owens was the sprinter that put the black glove and the fist up at the Munich Olympics, wasn't he?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm going to have to search that one. I may have just said something completely stupid.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he was one of the sprinters.
Well, I remember when I was looking at universities, and you're right. Are you right?
He was a gold medalist in the 1936 Olympic Games. Okay.
You know,
Ohio
this is going
State.
to turn really boring because you're just looking at a map and no one can.
It's a really big campus, right?
It's gigantic.
Go on
it's
forever.
huge.
So your campus was gritty and now it's been gentrified.
Yeah, basically.
Brooklyn.
So it's been shifting. It's been changing. I don't like it as much. I think it's lost some of its authenticity, some of what made it original. And now I just walk down the middle of campus and it feels like I'm in any suburb of the United States, and I don't like it anymore. I like that it felt original before.
When you say big businesses, which businesses?
Just big chain restaurants and bookstores and things like that.
Whereas before
that have put in like these nice, big, beautiful glass buildings. I mean, it looks nice, but I don't like it. I don't like it.
But before then, they had individual independent bookstores and things. Okay.
Yeah, you'd have little tiny businesses, family-owned things, individual-owned businesses. And it just shifted a lot. But I liked that it was a campus, a big campus, but also in a pretty big city. There's something that's boring about perfection.
I don't know where to go with that. There's something boring about perfection.
Yeah. Really boring about perfection, I think.
Very interesting. Although, well, I kind of agree. I can't really give a counter argument because I like things that are old. I was having this discussion with
That
my
are
wife.
what?
Old.
Old. Okay.
Like you're all right. You're old. No,
Yes.
I was having this discussion with my wife yesterday about buying a house. Because in a year and a half or so, we're going to be in the position to buy a house. And I want to buy an old house,
Okay.
which is small, which we could extend and fix up and make our own. But she wants to buy a house that's already completely made.
Yeah.
So the place where we're living now is like, I don't know how you describe it, kind of like, for a listener that's not from or lived in Mexico, what would you say, like condominiums, like private. It's like very beautiful but very artificial neighborhoods where all of the houses are exactly the same and they're all gated communities. And the houses are built on plots which are basically filled up by the house.
Yeah.
And there's no room for extension or to make any changes or to add value to the property. And I'm much more of the idea of you buy a slightly rough around the edges but has a good skeleton house with a bit more land around it. And then
It's rare to find land around houses
know.
here, though.
Because no one values gardens here at all, do they? They value a parking space, but they don't value gardens.
I think I don't know. I think it has to do with the developers too. They,
Sure.
you know, but
Well,
there's
that's the thing. If people really wanted a yard, then the developers would include those yards.
Yeah.
But people don't. People, generally speaking, it's funny because almost every other family has a dog, and they don't care if the patio out the back is
No.
incredibly small and
Yeah.
just concrete. They're happy to have the dog out there. But
it's
I'm-
hard to find like a good space here like that.
Well, I'm going to look because that's
Okay.
what I want. I don't want to buy a carbon copy house, which is already perfect. It's going to cost like $500,000 pesos more
Yeah.
than a house which I could make our own. You see what I mean? Like add to our specifications.
Yeah.
Because I want a garage or a shed, like a workshop.
So you really would want land
space
right
for the dog.
now,
Yeah.
and then to start kind of building.
Pretty much. Although it'd be
Little
good
by
to have a
little.
shell of a house already,
Yeah.
so that we can move in and build around the moving in. If you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you just buy the land, then you're paying a mortgage on the land plus the rent on the place you're living in. So we're going very far down my
Yeah.
plans of the future, but I agree with you that I would rather have something old that has character than just a carbon copy of every other person's house in the neighborhood. So it's kind of the same as you. You'd rather have an old, gritty university with character than a
Yes.
carbon copy university of all
Yeah.
the other ones.
Yeah. Sense what's coming right now.
Can you? Anyway,
Yes, I can see that look. I can
this-
see that look.
this is our silly section. I thought today I would tell Laura a story, which she may or may not be aware of. So there's this gentleman in the United Kingdom who's called Sir David Attenborough, who you may have heard if you've ever watched something like Blue Planet, or he's the narrator
Yes.
with that very posh English voice. He's a national treasure.
Uh-huh.
So, the British Marine Service or something along those lines was looking for a name for a boat, and they opened the vote. They opened the vote up for a public, for
Public
public
vote.
participation.
Okay.
Yeah, online, and so the winner of the public vote, after it became viral, was Boaty McBoatface. Yeah, lots of people voted for Boaty McBoatface because it got shared on Twitter. And the British Marine Service, they said we can't honour what we said we were going to do of naming, so we're going to name one of the submarine vessels on board the RMS, whatever. So
Okay.
they've called the ship the David Attenborough. And,
Okay.
But this tradition has been carried on.
Of voting?
Whenever there's a public vote, these names come out. So
Oh, I'd like to hear them.
yes, so there was
Okay, sorry, keep
so
going.
there was a public vote about a name for an owl, and the winning name was Hootie McOwlface.
Cootie McAlface?
Yes. There was a public vote for an MLS team, and the winning vote was Footy McFootface.
Footy McFootface.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said?
And then there was another one in the Isle of Wight, for a ferry, and the winning vote was Ferry McBoatface.
Nice.
People just like don't. Authorities around the world are not really catching on to the fact that they shouldn't open things up to public vote. Another one was for a floating bridge, and because of Boaty McBoatface, they voted to call it Floaty McFloatface.
Boaty McBoatface. I like that.
I think it's funny the way that people use the internet to do ridiculous things sometimes. It was funny to me, but it's not funny.
It was funny. It was funny.
I think it's funny that governments
They keep
and local
doing it?
authorities...
They're not catching on.
Kind of, yeah, but they're trying to be like...
Cool.
Just imagine like a couple of old men in an office somewhere thinking, how can we make ourselves more relevant in the modern age? Why don't we open up to a vote? Oh yeah, that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
And then the result they get is Ferry McFerryface.
Over and over again. Over and over again.
Start again. You didn't say university.
Okay.
What are you laughing at? What was that noise? Come on, Laura.
Okay.
Sort yourself out.
You sort yourself out.